Hi BookTube, this is Lindsay from Lindsay Reads, and today, since it's the last day of the month, I thought I would talk about the books I read in January. Since I've already done a mid-month wrap-up, and I did like a weekly wrap-up from last week, and then I'll be doing one this weekend as well. I'm only going to talk about like my top 5 favorites of the month, and then also get into some statistics for this month, like breaking up my reading into genres. As of right now, I've read 29 books, but I'm hoping to finish up 2 books that I'm currently reading. Sorry if you can hear this noise, that's my dog. First is a cat yesterday, now it's my dog. But, so what was I saying? So yeah, I'm hoping to finish up 2 more books tonight, which finger crossed I will, and so I'll include those 2 books into my statistics because I plan on, barring emergency or something, I'll be finishing those books up tonight as well. So before I get into my top 5 favorites of the month, I will get into some statistics. And so, like I said, I've read 29 books, but if I include the 2 that I'm currently reading, that will bring me up to 31 books, and it will just happen to be 31 books in 31 days in the month. So I did a really good job of averaging a book a day. I didn't always finish a book a day, but it just so happened that, I finished like 1 book a day, or it would be like, I'd miss a couple days and I'd finish 2 or 3 books, how it goes. So it would be 31 books, and my total page count is 9,511. So I did really good in terms of page count in books. I surprised myself. I didn't really plan this, but yeah, I listened to a lot of audiobooks at work, so that's how I was able to really knock out some reading time. And so I'll just break into statistics now. For classics, I read 2 classics. I read 6 comics, 8 nonfiction, and that is including nature, history, and politics. I read 2 mysteries, 3 children's books, 1 paranormal, 4 romance, 2 YA, 1 poetry collection, 1 historical fiction, and 1 fantasy. So that's my breakdown of my reading. And then now I'm going to go into my favorites of the month. And this is just in order of when I read them. So this first book is These Truths by Jill Lepore. And the subtitle is A History of the United States. And this came out in 2018. And this is one of my favorites because this is a history book, like the compilation of from the very beginning of the United States to now. And I've read a couple of books like that, but this one really struck me as a unique perspective on that because it really focuses on the political, the social, religious aspect of the history, and so it really dives into how people are voting and the changes in the mood of the people, and how religion is impacting how people think about humanity, and how that is affecting the political and daily lives of people. And so it was a really intriguing book for me. I learned a lot from that book, and I'm still thinking about that even book to this day about what I learned in that book. Okay, so the next book of my favorites that I finished is one, let's see if I can pull it up. It's Iger by Ben Goldfarb, The Surprising Secret Life of Beavers and Why They Matter. And this came out in 2018. And this is all about beavers, their way of life, and how they're impacting the environment. And without beavers, how there's a need for beavers, and all of the positives and negatives to do with them. So it's kind of like a nature book, but also like an environmentalist book. So the next one, sorry, my nose is itching. Maybe it's the dog hair. Is Fenton by Anthony Trollope. And this is the second book in the Palliser series. This one is one of my top favorites because it's just making me want to read every single Trollope, right now, right at this moment. I'm so glad that Steve Donahue decided to continue on with the Palliser series. Next month in February, that's going to be like his book that he's going to be reading along. And so I just can't wait. This book, even though it has like the parliamentary elements, I really like the social aspect, you know, like all the women, his characters are just so great, like Madame Max and you know, Lady Glencora. I just can't wait to read more about them, and so that's why this book is on my list. Okay, so let's see. The next book is one I also recently talked about, because we're getting, you know, each book's I have the list is according to when I read them, and so I just talked about this one. And this is Betsy Casey Tim by Maud Hart Lovelace, and this is the second book in the Betsy Casey series. And I chose this one instead of the first one because I couldn't really pick either one of them, but I chose the second one because it's including, you know, all three the main characters, and so I thought that would be a better choice to show as a favorite. This book, it was just delightful, like the whole series. I'm so excited. This is also like a read along that's happening, and I'm so excited to get into the next two books in the series in February. And this is just the series, from what I gather, is as the series progresses, the children grow up, and so right now we're still in the children mindset for the books and the age group, and yeah, they're just so fun. It's like exactly what I need on like a cold, rainy January day. Is like this bright, even the cover is yellow, even like this bright light. So the last book I'm going to be talking about for my favorites is Cotillion by George Iger, and this is a Regency romance. It's actually the first Regency romance I've ever read. I'm pretty sure. I read a couple of historical fiction, but not directly about the romance. And so this was just, it was funny. Like, it wasn't like a romance of like physical aspects of romance. It was more of like the relationships and you know, ending in like marriage, that kind of romance. And this is about an uncle who is like a wealthy uncle, and he's sick and he's old, and sorry, it's my cat too. I have a dog on this side and a cat on this side. What's that saying? So there's uncle who is going to being passed away soon, and so he's trying to make a will, but he doesn't have any children of his own. He's adopted a girl, but he decides he can't give the money to her. So but he has like 4 or 5 nephews, so he decides he's going to pair whoever she chooses of these nephews is who gets the money. And you know, she refuses at first, but then she realizes what's going on, so she realizes she has to choose one of them. But none of them were exactly the right choice for her. You know, she's like an independent person, but they're like, so one of them is like a gambler, one is like a military man, one is like slow, like special education kind of man, and then there's like one that's, you know, really into clothes and doesn't want to get married at all. And so it's just her interactions with them, and who does she end up with in the end. And it was just a delightful, funny read. And so those are my 5 favorites in the month of January. Let me know if you read any of these, and let me know how this layout works. I wasn't exactly sure how to do a wrap up, because if I read 31 books in the month of January, or you know, in the future, you know, if I read like 30 books or so, it's hard to do a wrap up because I would be here forever talking about every single one of my books. And so I thought, you know, having the statistics of, you know, like a short way of wrapping up the month, and then having like just like my top favorites would be a good way to do it, especially since I'm also still doing like a wrap up each week on the book. So let me know what you think of this layout. But thank you. See you soon, BookTube.